Moldova joined the World Bank in 1992. Since then, the World Bank has continuously supported the country's economic and social reform program by working with authorities, local stakeholders, civil society, and development partners to reduce poverty and enhance the living standards of the people. World Bank assistance to Moldova was channeled over the past 18 years to support critical areas of reform in education, energy, social assistance, healthcare, environment, agriculture, development of basic infrastructure, and support to the business environment, income, and competitiveness agenda. In education, the Quality Education in Rural Areas of Moldova project, co-financed by the Government of Moldova, has increased access to quality education, particularly in rural areas and among poor families, training over 8,000 teachers, developing new curriculum, and increasing efficiency in the use of public resources. At the same time, the Education for All Fast Track initiative implemented by UNICEF has targeted improvements in preschool education across the country. 65 kindergartens have been fully renovated and equipped. 6,000 teachers and managers have been trained to implement new teaching and educational practices promoted by the project, whilst community mobilization in supporting local development priorities has increased the quality and accountability in the educational system. Moldova's lack of energy resources, insufficient heating system, and Soviet legacies exacerbated by the economic transition to a free market economy have contributed to a challenging situation in the public heating sector. The World Bank's Energy 2 project aims to improve the availability, quality, and efficiency of heating in selected priority public buildings, including schools, hospitals, and residential buildings for disabled and other vulnerable groups. The project has renovated 12 hospitals, increased availability of heating in selected buildings from 30 to 120 days per year, and achieved significant savings in energy use through the implementation of new energy-efficient technologies. The World Bank, in partnership with the Government of Moldova and the Government of Japan, are implementing the Avian Influenza Control and Human Pandemic Preparedness and Response Project. The project, launched in 2006, had the aim to minimize the threat posed to humans by avian influenza.
The outbreaks of SARS and then avian flu in the World Bank was asked to actually join the global efforts to combat potential pandemic flu and jump of the virus from animals to humans that could cause millions of people to die.
Project objectives are to increase national capacity and surveillance of disease outbreaks, preparing for outbreaks, and controlling outbreaks in humans and animals. Support to the Government of Moldova in this area was critical to helping the Moldovan authorities respond efficiently to the outbreaks of swine flu in Moldova in 2009. Moldova was the second most affected country in the world among low-income countries by the global economic crisis. A 6.5% decrease in GDP has reversed earlier economic successes and opened the door for an increase in poverty. The World Bank has responded quickly to address the negative effects of the crisis in Moldova. Additional financing in the amount of $20 million was added to the well-performing Moldova Social Investment Fund. The money is being used to create employment and wage incomes in selected poor communities during the crisis and recovery period. Renovations of critical rural infrastructure in roads, schools, hospitals, social care centers are generating not only social benefits to selected communities, but also create additional employment through scaling up the labor intensiveness of works. To date, the Moldova Social Investment Fund project Phase 1 and 2 has assisted over 700 localities in addressing local development needs. It has provided access to natural gas and funded major improvements in roads, schools, kindergartens, cultural centers, and other social institutions across Moldova. Scaling up support to rural business development has been another core element of World Bank support in Moldova in addressing the effects of the economic crisis. The Rural Investment and Services Project has received an additional $10 million in 2009 to continue supporting startup businesses and young entrepreneurs across Moldova. To date, over 1,700 new businesses have been created with support from RISP and 7,000 new jobs generated across the country, mainly in rural areas. Examples of successful RISP-supported beneficiaries are numerous, these small businesses oftentimes providing vital employment in poor communities, lacking job opportunities, and affected by heavy outward labor migration and social problems.
I am a single mother of 3 and the only breadwinner. I really have to earn money to support my children.
The global financial crisis has exposed Moldova's vulnerability to remittances and import-driven consumption. The decline in global trade flows has also affected Moldovan exporters. The World Bank has stepped in by providing $24 million in additional financing for the competitiveness enhancement project for working capital needs of export-oriented companies and matching grants to support the adoption of international quality standards. To date, over 150 Moldovan companies have benefited from matching grants to adopt international quality standards and be able to export to foreign markets. The project has successfully supported regulatory reforms and reduced the regulatory burden by over 35% in the past 5 years. Work is ongoing in setting up credit bureaus, with the legal framework overseeing this being already in place.
Pentru implementarea acestui sistem de calitate și control a calității.
To implement the quality control system took us 10 months of 5 days a week of hard work, but it was worth it.
Reoccurring droughts, floods, and other adverse weather phenomena have called for World Bank involvement in supporting the government of Moldova to mitigate and adapt to climate change. A World Bank project dedicated to helping Moldova better forecast severe weather and improve domestic capacity to prepare for and respond to natural disasters is on its way. But because change comes from the inside, the World Bank Moldova Country Office is already taking steps to reduce its own carbon footprint and adopt environmentally friendly institutional practices. World Bank Moldova staff members have planted around 1,600 trees in the spring and have managed to reduce electricity consumption in the office through the use of energy-efficient bulbs. The office is recycling paper and other waste, while at the same time encouraging young people across Moldova to act in a similar fashion through public outreach initiatives.
In fact, we have a team here now preparing a disaster and climate risk management project, which will help to adapt to and mitigate the impact of climate change in Moldova.